So I bet you didn't know I live in an acreage community, unless you already follow me on YouTube. But anyway, I am a resident of an acreage community here in Texas. More oversized home lots is what they call it normally. But for me, I consider it acreage because one, I've never owned this much land. I am sitting on 3/4 of an acre. To some, that's probably minute, but for me, that's huge. So I really am coming just to share more information on my experience living in an acreage community and also answering any questions that you might have on making a decision to move to an acreage community. So I have 10 questions that won't be all answered in this one video, but I'm going to start with number 10, the top 10 question most people always ask is, what are you going to do with all of this space? What are you going to... Well, the first thing you really want to do is keep it maintained. And my remedies for maintaining may not be your remedies, but suggestions I offer would be, one, hiring help. While I don't want to act like I'm a damsel in distress, maintaining this size lot is huge, and I'll share an image with you at some point during the video, if not at the end. But maintaining this size lot is a lot. One, I'm a single mom. I have 2 children, 2 school-age kids. All they want to do is run around the place, so they probably not going to help me very much anyway. So consider hiring help. There's a lot of, check your local, vendors in the city that you're occupied in, but I'm speaking towards the city that I live in, which is Needville, Texas. And there's tons of opportunity or options out here, or maybe even talk with your neighbors or somebody that you just know of that's familiar with, lawn care companies that can service your property. So I know that runs me about $76 a cut. Now, I had an old guy, I say old guy, but I had an old lawn care service, and they were charging me like $25 to cut the front, and then they would charge like, I don't know, 60 or 80 to cut the back, which was kind of strange. And then he didn't even cut it at the same time. I don't know why he did it that way. I didn't care at the time because I was like, just as long as it's cut and maintained, because I don't want any issues. So nevertheless, I fired him. I got a new guy, and now he cuts everything at the same time, edges it up for $76 a cut. So obviously we're in the winter months, so the numbers are not going to be the same compared to when the weather starts warming up in the spring and the summer. So around that time, you could expect to spend a little bit more, maybe times 2, times 3, depending on how quickly your grass is growing. Outside of that, make sure you get a sprinkler system installed. I would definitely suggest you get it installed during the down season, because obviously once it starts to warm up, people are probably going to get more work, and they're not going to be as lenient on their prices. I remember when I purchased my sprinkler system, I paid $1,700, and that was for about 5 zones. And I know some companies are out here charging like $500 per zone. And when you're sitting on 1+ acre lot sizes, that can be very expensive. I recently got a quote, and this was for my backyard, because I don't have a sprinkler system back there. I have a little, you go to Home Depot and buy your little sprinkler, plug it up to your hose in the backyard, and I let that go. But I was like, man, I need to get one installed in the backyard just because it needs its water when it needs its water. So I got quoted about $2,500, and that was for 6 zones in my backyard. I'm still confused as to why. I mean, I know there were different times and things were probably a little bit cheaper 2 and 3 years ago, but I'm still I said I need a line by line item list on why you charging me $2,500. And I even told him to go back to the drawing board. He came back with $100 off. Needless to say, I'm going to find another quote. Other suggestions when it comes to maintaining your acreage size lot, you can get a riding lawnmower if you don't want to pay anybody to do your yard for you. If you're that type and you want to do it yourself, get your riding lawnmower. Really, a number of places you can shop for. I probably would opt for Lowe's or Home Depot, but I'm sure the men know the top places to shop for that. I think a zero-turn mower is what was suggested to me. And I suspect those probably run anywhere from like $2,000 and up. So I could be probably off on my pricing, but definitely do your due diligence when you're researching that. Other things to consider when maintaining large plots of land, like I said, hire help, maybe looking to getting you a riding lawnmower. Make sure you have your sprinkler system installed, and consider maybe a little storage area in the back, because you'll need these tools to maintain your grounds, right? So it's okay to throw a shed back there in the back, but make sure you keep that cleaned out as well, because you don't want critters and snakes and all other things just chilling in your little shed. I probably would be out to pour a little piece of slab and put the shed on top of it and kind of keep that sealed in to keep the critters out. Maybe my own little she shed. I'm considering that too. And then lastly, one other thing you can do is utilize it, right? You can, make your own flower beds or a little garden or whatever your heart desires. You have tons of space to work with, and I keep looking that way because I am looking out the window. But when you're living on large plots of land or in acreage communities or oversized home lots, there's so many opportunities to make it your own. If you have more questions on maintaining large plots of land or any other questions, and you definitely want to come back to follow this series, right? I'm going top 10 questions on living the acreage life. And that's the number one question most people do ask me, honestly, is how do you maintain your lawn, or what do you plan on doing with your lawn? So those are just a few tips to share with you guys. Sharonda Phelps, Realtor. I'm with Braden Real Estate Group out of Houston, Texas. You want to call me, 832-232-1767. And of course, all my links to social media are located in my bio here. And you can definitely book a consult with me, because I would love to, talk more on what your goals are, on what you want to do, or if you need suggestions on where to live out in Fort Bend County, because we have tons of land and opportunity. So I will talk with y'all soon. Stay tuned for the next vid. Bye, guys.